Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be talking about my 5 favorite fiction novels that I read in 2022. Now, I'm not saying these books were published in 2022, just that I read them in that year. I'll also be doing videos to highlight my 5 favorite nonfiction books and my 5 favorite Star Wars novels that I read in 2022. So if you're interested in those other genres, just to keep an eye out, I'll be posting all those videos to my channel sometime in January of this year. But like I said, today's video will be focusing on my 5 favorite fiction novels. And to start off the list is Fallout by Harry Turtledove. This is the second book in the Hot Wars series. Since this is a second book in a series, I won't be talking a whole lot about the plot of this book, but kind of give you a basic idea of what the setup for the series is. Harry Turtledove is a great writer in alternate history. This series very much falls in the genre of alternate history and is set during the events of the Korean War in our real history. And the basic concept is what would have happened if the United States and the Soviet Union had started using nuclear weapons during this war and basically triggered World War III with rampant use of nuclear weapons. So instead of having a Cold War, we have a hot war. And the events of this version of Earth's history transpires during the course of the series, and you get a perspective of what's happening from everything from civilians, regular foot soldiers, politicians, from many different countries around the world during the events of this book. So it's a very interesting series. I love Harry Turtledove, sorry, and he's such a great writer. I always love his books. So that is number 5 on the list. Number 4 is a collection of short stories that I read, This Way to the End Times, Classic Tales of the Apocalypse. This is edited by Robert Silverberg. I've always been very interested in stories about dystopian situations or tales of apocalypse in the world. I always find it kind of an interesting concept to be a setting for a book, TV show, movie, whatever. And this is a very interesting collection of short stories that kind of explore this topic from a variety of different viewpoints, mainly because the stories are written in dramatically different times. You have some stories that are written well over 200 years ago, you have some stories that are much more recently written. So it's very interesting to see how society's view of like the end of the world has changed as time goes along. So I really enjoyed this collection of short stories. It was really awesome. Number 3 on my list is a very classic, probably the best known book on this list, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I had never read any books by Agatha Christie before, but I'd always wanted to, so I decided, it's time I read one of her books. I thought, let me just get started with her probably most famous book. So I read it, really loved it. If you love murder mysteries, detective style novels, and you've never read Agatha Christie, I would definitely recommend checking her out. And definitely checking out this book. I really enjoyed it. It was an awesome read. A very quick read, very entertaining read, and loved everything about it. Number 2 on my list is The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. John Scalzi is probably my favorite contemporary sci-fi writer. I actually love his books. I've read several of them in the past. I've loved every single one that I've read. So this is his first book in the this new series, and I absolutely loved it. And the basic concept is you kind of have this like galaxy-wide empire that's been established because humanity kind of discovered this technology where this quirk in space that basically allows them to travel from distant planets in a very short amount of time. So it's not necessarily like hyperspeed or something like that. It's more like these portals open up. I almost think like a Stargate situation, and they kind of permanently open, and a ship can go in one end, and they know that they're going to travel through this wormhole and then appear near another planet, basically on the other side of the galaxy. So it's allowed humanity to kind of establish this empire that's completely dependent on these basically passageways that honestly they do not understand how they actually work. And the basic concept of this series is these pathways begin to break down. So the empire is collapsing, and it's basically like the leadership of the empire realizing this is happening and how they act in response to this news is very fascinating. I think it's very much the way people react to crisis in our real world. I know I'm kind of looking back on the book. It reminded me of how some people responded to COVID. Some people, completely denied it. Some people embraced scientific thought on it. Some people were in the middle. It's very interesting. So kind of take that same concept of how like people respond to a dire situation and to set it in the future in a galaxy-wide human empire with the state of the empire at stake. Very interesting book. I'm very much looking forward to reading the rest of the series because I actually loved the first book of the series. And then my favorite book that I read in 2022, and some years I have a hard time picking my favorite. A lot of times the couple ones at the top of the list, I have a hard time figuring out which is going to be third, second, first. This year there was a clear-cut favorite for me for first place, and that is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, a very well-known fantasy series. Got this as a Secret Santa gift in 2021, which it seems weird saying 2021, and now that's well over a year ago. I absolutely love this novel. It's a very interesting fantasy setup. I love the premise of basically you have a character who's become a legendary figure in his own time. He's a renowned magician, soldier, musician. He's one of those people, everything he does, he's amazing at, and he has a certain charisma that just draws people to him. So he's become like this larger-than-life figure in his own time period. And basically he has went into hiding, and we don't really know why he went into hiding yet in regard to the events of the first book, but a chronicler tracks him down and basically wants to write a book about his life. And the character agrees and basically tells him it's going to take 3 days to tell his life story. And so book one covers the first day of the story. And then there'll be the second book covers the second day, the third book covers the third day. The third book hasn't been written yet. First book mainly covers like his childhood up into when he's in college. And in this world there's a college where basically people go to study magic. Basically magic is not a skill you inherit, or you're just kind of like think of like Harry Potter, where you're kind of born with the ability to use magic, but you go to school to kind of learn more. This one, it's a skill that almost anybody can tap into. They just have to be trained, almost like going to medical school to become a doctor. You go to school to become a magician. And so that's kind of the period that this novel covers. Absolutely love this. I'm so excited to read the second book. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing story, and absolutely loved it. So those are my 5 favorite books that I read in 2022. For all those books I've done, except number 5, the Fallout one. A lot of times I don't review a book when it's in the middle of a series, but books 1 through 4 on my list, I've all done reviews for on my channel, so if you're interested in checking those out, just check out my channel and all the reviews I posted there. All the books I definitely highly recommend, as you can guess. Let me know in the comment section below, what was your favorite novel that you read in 2022? I'm always looking for some recommendations of what I should read in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I really appreciate the support. If you have yet, please subscribe to the channel. Obviously, every time I get a new subscriber, absolutely love it. Small channel, so every subscriber does mean a lot to me, I should say. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you the next time, and happy reading.